away tonight.
The shot was after the bell.
I dropped Lewis, I beat him up, and I was getting a knockout.
Look, that's not the way I want to win a fight.
I've got to be honest with you, I want to see it again.
Well, now this is an interesting bit of news. So, we got word yesterday, that's basically a done deal, that Joseph Parker will be facing Fabio Wardley. Now, this is a good fight in of itself. It's a stay busy fight. Well, I say stay busy fight. It's a very high level. It is a decent level. Stay busy fight for both guys. It's a consolidation of the interim titles. Joseph Parker, in my opinion, he's next in line to get a world title crack. But Oleksandr Usyk has requested an exemption. Now, we knew that. I think the purse bids were due about a fortnight ago because they announced it pretty much straight after his fight with Daniel Dubois. He requested an exemption, an extension to be able to keep his title and to essentially decide what he wants to do next. I forget who it was, but it was a member of his team. Might have been Lapin. Is Sergei Lapin or something like that, was saying that Oleksandr Usyk had earned the right to choose who he fights next and, this, that and the other. So we hadn't heard anything about the exemption at all. Oleksandr Usyk and his team were saying, appeared to be injured and stuff like that. And Usyk has suffered more so since he's moved to heavyweight with injuries. I know when he was very active at cruiserweight, and then when he moved up to heavyweight, instantly he was getting niggles. There was bicep injuries, there was this, that and the other. So, 100%. Well, the WBO, and this is from Everything Boxing, the WBO has not yet granted an extension to Oleksandr Usyk to discharge his mandatory against interim champion Joseph Parker. The sanctioning body has requested an update medical report from Oleksandr Usyk following a video of him dancing last week, which we did, of course, see. And there were people who were pointing out, some injury. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean, if you think of it like this, right? Let's just hypothetically say it's an injury to the elbow or something like that. It doesn't have to be an injury to his legs or anything like that. But, there was that video clip of him dancing. The WBO Championship Committee will rule on Oleksandr Usyk's exemption request next week. So, if Oleksandr Usyk can prove he's injured, which, there have been instances with fighters like I think Kell Brook and people like that who've shown when they've been injured, and that's not even to keep a title, that's just to show this is why I quit in this fight or this, that and the other, where they have shown medical documentation to prove that, the eye was completely jacked and, other things. Now, would I rule out the possibility of a fighter or sportsman claiming an injury when they're not injured? It happens. It does happen. I think it happened with Vladimir Klitschko back in the day. Was he meant to fight Derek Chisora? Now, Vladimir, not Vitaly. And he was playing golf or something like that. It goes back, I remember in the 90s. Well, I remember Michael Schumacher in 1999. This is just from watching F1 and knowing Michael Schumacher, following him for so many years. Now, he obviously broke his leg. I think he broke one or both of them. It was definitely one of them at Silverstone at a crash in 1999. And he apparently was only going to be ruled out for so many races, but it meant his championship was basically gone. He wasn't going to be world champion in 1999, so he basically was trying to sit the season out. He could have been back probably earlier than he could have, but then he was saying, no, I won't be back until 2000. But then I think it was, this bear in mind, this is in the 90s, so internet, smartphones, social media, you can get away with it a lot easier back then, because you weren't being, photographed or filmed everywhere. But I think it was a video or pictures of him playing football or something emerged. So even though he had the broken legs, he was exacerbating how bad it was at that point. Hence the reason he was back for the final couple of races of the 1999 season. So it does happen with sportsmen. They will say maybe there is an injury, a legit injury, but they'll exacerbate how bad it is in order to be able to, have things their way. Now with Oleksandr Usyk, again, in context, when was that video of him dancing actually taken? Was it definitely last week, or was it, somewhere in the past? There's plenty of footage of him dancing in the past. Is it an injury to his feet, to his legs? Is it gonna, hinder him dancing? Because if it's an injury, saying that, to his, arms, his shoulder or something like that, you wouldn't imagine, dancing is gonna exacerbate it that bad, you would think. But the WBO, before they grant this exemption, they do want to know that, yes, you are legitimately injured, in which case I would imagine they would say, okay, you can have your exemption, you can wait, you can see what happens. If they don't, and if Team Usyk don't provide that, then I would imagine they won't grant the exemption to the WBO. they will order Oleksandr Usyk. See, that it gets tricky then, because how can you order a fighter to fight someone who has a fight lined up? You see what I mean? Like, that's where it gets tricky then, because it's like, right, next week they could order Oleksandr Usyk to fight Joseph Parker, but then what happens if it's announced he's fighting Fabio Wardley? What do you do then? You know what I mean? So, like, what then? Do we have, does it kick the can down the road again? Does it mean then that, okay, Oleksandr Usyk is now ordered to fight Joseph Parker, but only after Joseph, you know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know. See, I want to see, and I've said this before, I want to see fighters get their crack, right? If you're mandatory, you've earned that right, as far as I'm concerned, to challenge the champion. Unless, of course, and I understand, unless like there's a unification or an undisputed fight, get that, that's fair enough. And in the past, it's always been unifications trump mandatories, fair enough. There isn't any now, so it's like, right, let's get a move on. I spoke about in, I think, yesterday's video review of the week, or was it the other one? I forget which one it was, but it was basically me saying that Tyson Fury, his next move hinges on what Oleksandr Usyk does next. If we want to see AJ versus Fury, then essentially Oleksandr Usyk is either going to fight Joseph Parker or he's going to retire, one or the other. Because given the chance, I think Usyk, Turki Al-Sheikh, everyone involved would just jump at the chance of a trilogy fight with Tyson Fury. I wouldn't, for a variety of reasons. One, I've seen it twice already, and Usyk won handily both times. Fury looks not in crazy good shape. He's certainly been fluctuating a lot in between the last year. He'll be out of the. I think it'd be a much easier fight, quite frankly, for Oleksandr Usyk this time. And I think that it'd be like Usyk challenging it'd be like AJ challenging Usyk again. You're like, are you seeing it twice? You don't need to see it again. And one fighter, although he's I don't say on the decline that much, but he's definitely not in his prime anymore, Oleksandr Usyk. He still has enough to be able to beat guys 11 years his junior. What are you going to do when you fight someone who's, lost twice, has, fluctuated in between fights and hasn't seen any action in over a year? It's not going to end well for that fighter. It's just not. So, yeah, I would love to see Usyk fight Parker. It does throw a spanner in the works, even if they don't give him the exemption, what happens now if Joseph Parker is, or is fighting, Fabio Wardley? Well, that just kicks the can down the road again. So, anyhow, those are my thoughts on this. Let me know yours in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think Usyk should be obliged to explain his injury, explain, the dancing and stuff like that? Again, if it's an injury that's not, going to stop him dancing, I don't see a problem with him going and doing a dance, and that's something that Usyk's always done, to be honest with you. He loves dancing, so if it's I've been very lucky in my life. I've never really had any major injuries. I don't think I've really had any, thank God, touch wood. So I couldn't tell you. I don't know, if you have an injury to your shoulder, would it stop you dancing? I would imagine probably not, but yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed the video, people. If you could, smash the like button. I should have said that at the start, but I always forgetting to do that. But if you could, smash the like button. That video I did yesterday did quite well. It got me 50 subs in a day. I'm pretty happy. Let's just keep that momentum going. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, people. Peace.